And I know the post-lunch sessions when you're heavy and full can be a bit daunting to sit, but I think I'll try to make it enjoyable because the topic seems to be interesting to me. Marketing is something, reaching out to the consumer is something which is very key to every business. As Martin Limstad once says, that the perception that a consumer has in the mind about your product decides a lot about how he's going to come to you again and again. So the perception you create matters a lot. And for creating a perception, feedback matters a lot, because based on feedback, you alter your strategy and create better perception. But the panel has been introduced. So without wasting time, I'll get to the introductory comments. Let me start with Siddharth Thakker. Siddharth, as part of your opening comment for today, if you could explain in about 1 minute about your business and how you've reached out to the consumer and what has been the feedback loop and the learning lessons.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm audible, yeah? All right. So I'm Siddharth Thakker. I'm the co-founder of Articlad. Articlad basically stands for architectural cladding. So what we do is we manufacture products which can replace natural bricks and stone that is used for cladding. And we're also working on a patented product that can completely change the way you look at the structure. So our main job is to, raise the bar when it comes to increasing the aesthetics of a building or an interior wall, whatever. And yeah, that's what we do.
And I want to understand from you, when you approach the consumer, what is the feedback loop? How, have you altered your business based on certain feedbacks from the customer? If you could share one or maybe two major learning lessons in the past year or so, when you have been able to service the clients, what is the feedback loop what is the message that you've got?
Okay, so to be completely honest with you guys, we started the business 2016 and we started as of a trader. Yeah, so then due to the ever evolving changes in a customer's need, I could not rely on a third person to meet my supplies. So that's why we were forced to actually start our own manufacturing here. Yeah, so when it comes to any aesthetic of a wall, if you want to clad a wall, you have a precise taste. A client has a very precise taste as to what he wants. And so that's why we were forced into manufacturing to give the customer what he exactly wants. So that's how we,
Basically, the main feedback loop, in fact, you had backward integration. You went and set up a unit. That's an important point. I mean, I don't know, it's a very oft repeated example, but Reliance Industries went from making polyester to refining, where they started to make the raw material. But chalo, that's another story for another day. Pooja, Brahmankar, if you could share, first of all, a little bit about your business and then the feedback loop, what you learned as you interacted with the customer.
Perfect. Can you all hear me? Yeah. All right. So, hi everyone. I'm Pooja and I'm currently leading digital marketing and D2C for Upscalio. So, what Upscalio is a roll-up e-commerce brands. So, we've seen that for a lot of sellers out there, growing from 0 to 1 is relatively easy. But when you have to scale from 1 to 10 and 10 to 100, it becomes really difficult. And that's what Upscalio helps sellers do. We acquire brands and we have a team of 150 members specializing across logistics, supply chain, marketing. And we help our sellers grow from 10 to 100 and of course, build profitability ourselves because we've acquired those brands. Talking about consumers are ever evolving. And one great observation that we have about consumers today is that they have the deep need to have all the possible information about a certain product. They need to have control. It may be a low ticket size item like coffee beans or something which is high ticket size like a blender or a juicer. But for them to make a purchase, they need to have all the possible information. To give you all an example, one of the brands we've acquired is Hestia. Hestia is in kitchen appliances. And we started with a website which gave all the information about the product and why our product is the best out there. But we didn't have good conversion rates. We spoke to consumers and we understood that the basic problem is that people don't even know what is cold press juicing. So we need to provide information about how cold press juicing is different from normal juicing and then lead on to our product information. And once we made this pivot, we saw about 20% increase in conversion rates just by providing the right information to the consumers. So I think that's...
Thanks. That was an important input, that the consumer will see value in your product when he knows why it is important for him to have that product. That's an important point there. I'll go to Aastha Dusad for her opening comment and learning curve.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? So I'm the co-founder of Meddelivery. This is a hyperlocal ecosystem that we have built for medical shopkeepers, helping them with their daily procurements that they do from the hyperlocal wholesale market. So pharma supply chain is peculiar. It's operating over 500,000 plus different SKUs. And we help medical shopkeepers procure all of them. We have created an ecosystem where we have brought all the distributors closer to the medical shopkeepers, all the manufacturers, pharma brands, where there are 10,000 plus such brands. So we have brought them closer to these medical shopkeepers on the content that we generate over our ordering platform, over our platform, hyperlocal delivery platform. We provide insights, the industry nuances to these brands, where they can, on the basis of the content and data that we provide, can tweak their marketing strategies, their acquisition strategies, how they should reach to the medical shopkeepers. And we have built a non-metro platform, which is very important because consumers are different in non-metro cities. It's very, very relationship driven. We have built a platform which is for the Bharat. So there, people, it's particularly for the D2C brands which are coming now, the people make their buying purchases on the basis of the relationships that they hold with the seller. So if you're talking about medical shopkeepers, they're having, say, 80% repeat buyers, and they are like the best salesperson any brand can have. If they can make them aware about their products, and that's how you can push into the offline markets as well. And we are the empowerers there, where we are empowering all these brands as well as these medical shopkeepers to have their reach where they don't have in the offline markets now.
Thank you, Aastha. I'll go to Abhik for his opening comment.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Abhik Kapoor. I am AVP for Business Product for Bobble AI. So if I have to describe Bobble AI, so Bobble AI is a conversational media platform, right? So we are empowering billions of conversations on a daily basis, right? In terms of making them personalized, lively, and that too users can express in their vernacular languages, right? We support 150 plus Indic plus global languages in which they can express, right? So it's an input method, right? And we have our flagship product, Bobble, in the keyboard, which is strategically placed across your smartphone, since keyboard is the most essential part of your smartphone, right? So this is what we do on the consumer end, but things get interesting when we go on the business end, right? So for when a user are interacting with the keyboard, right, they are doing conversation, they are generating billions of intents on a daily basis. For businesses, it's a gold mine of that, right? We generate a lot of insights from that. That's where our feedback loop comes in, right? We don't only allow us to personalize the conversation, but we also allow the other brands to come in to advertise themselves and to learn from that, right? So that's where our feedback loops comes in. And we are very lucky to have that particular thing, right? The keyboard has a gold mine of data, right? In terms of that. And for example, we are launching a commerce business out of it. घर पे आपको शैम्पू क्या लेना है से लेके आपको मोबाइल या गाड़ी कौन सी लेनी है, it's been talked upon, right? So we can generate a million of things right there. So that's the thing.
Thanks for that opening comment, and go across to Anubhav Dubey for his opening comment.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm co-founder of Chai Sutta Bar. We are a cafe chain. We started with the one small tea shop, stretching to 400 shops in India, Muscat, Dubai and Nepal. We're expanding our outlets in UK, USA, Canada as well. And we started in 2016. It's been 6 years journey now. And yes, we are expanding with keeping the sustainability in the mind and learning from the market, as the market is the biggest guru.
Thank you for the opening comment. One small follow-up question would be on the learning curve. Since you now operate in various geographies, can you quickly share one learning curve in India and other geographies?
See, the customers are very different in the different geographies. When we was about to open our shop in Dubai, we never been to Dubai. None of my forefathers have been to any of the international country. हमारे यहाँ पे विदेश का मतलब अमेरिका ही होता है बस. So when we went there, so it was damn stringent. It was not like what we used to do in India. हाथ धोने के लिए भी आप टैप हाथ से नहीं खोल सकते. You used to have to use your knee. हम लोग को पता नहीं था. But there are few fundamentals which are same across the world. इंसान से ही डील करना है ना ultimately. So as far the product is concerned, so जैसा देश वैसा भेस. So as far the chai is concerned, because chais are a key product, so there is a possibility that we have to remove milk from tea. Water-based tea बेचना पड़ेगा. But tea is there. And ultimately, if we want to attract the customers, we have to play with the psychology, sir. So what we do is we create the ambience. So our main product is ambience, not chai.
Product is ambience.
Ambience, not
That's
chai.
a good learning. You play on the ambience. You say the food has to be good. The ambience is something that.
True, sir.
So you would spend money on that.
Yeah.
Good. But I'll go across to Siddharth. Siddharth, I'll echo the same question that I asked Anubhav. Depending on different geographies, do customer demands change or they remain rather same for somebody like you who primarily operates in a pan-India market? You haven't ventured abroad as yet, but of course you would be servicing clients, say in Delhi and Rajasthan and Kerala and Tamil Nadu or in the Northeast. Could you share some learnings with us?
So yeah, when it comes to different geographies, there is change in taste. I would rather say that in consumer. So and the needs are ever evolving. So I mean, any consumer can actually go online, go on Pinterest or Instagram, and they can see the biggest houses in Europe. So that's how they actually want to design their own house. So earlier the concept was one person used to, there was an interior designer who used to design your house and get done with it. But now the process has become a lot more collaborative. The owner, the developer, the interior designer, the architects, everybody's involved. And the major aspect of it is such that social media has played a very important role in it. So you see somebody's house, you like the design, you try to replicate the same design. So word of mouth has become 100x when it compares to social media. Word of mouth is 100x due to social media, I would say that. But that is also, a boon and a bane. Because you like one design, you have a stipulated budget and you want to fix this design, so it becomes difficult to serve the evolving needs of client. So yeah, it does. There is a lot of changes when it comes to different cities, different states with regards to cladding. But yeah, general apprehension is to make a wall look good. That's all.
Thanks. I'll go to Pooja at this point. Pooja, because you deal primarily with different brands. It could be FMCG brand, it could be some other brand. In your first answer, you mentioned that you satisfied the consumer's need for information, where providing information about cold press juicing, you could actually, let him know why it is important for him to buy. Now, tell me one thing, that because you deal with 12 brands, how have you dealt with different needs? So this one product required more information. What have other product requires you to innovate? What kind of information have you given, or the strategy is completely different?
So, right from the communication strategy to the channel strategy to the marketing strategy, it's unique across different brands. So to give you an example, one of our brands, we sell bags and shoes. Now, these are very marketplace heavy brands. Marketplace as an Amazon, Flipkart. So here the strategy is mostly to ensure that our organic listings keep increasing. And we are, if someone looks for shoes or bags, we are always present via our ads. Because eventually, if you're present via ads, people will click and eventually sales velocity will increase and then your organic rankings will increase. So here the strategy becomes very ad plus organic heavy. However, when you talk about brands like Green Soul, which is an ergonomic chairs brand, here it's a very high ticket size product. It's like 15,000 for a chair. Here I really need to say, why do you need to invest in ergonomics as a concept? And hence, you need to educate a lot more. It's not like an impulse purchase. Now, providing information across your product pages is consistent across any brand. But how much, how consistently do you need to provide your information? For example, for Green Soul, I need to hit every consumer with a frequency of 5 to 6 ads because it takes that much time to make this decision. This may go on for 3 months, it may even go on for a year. So I need to build that reach as well as frequency to ensure that the entire journey is catered. So that's, I think, the big.
But one good point you said is that because you take something like a chair in 15,000 given per capita income of India would not be an easy sell. So you think that much more convincing is needed on why it is important. So your communication has to be more in that sense. But I'll go across now to Aastha. Aastha, you told me just before we started this conversation that your main target is tier 2 cities. And you focused on tier 2 cities for growing your business. Uh, Tell me what are one or two specific learnings from tier 2 cities when dealing with these medical store owners, and what it is that you've been able to provide that you've also decided that this will in a sense be able to in a sense fulfill your quench for growth. When you say that you want to focus on tier 2, of course it's with a specific plan that you're not going to tier 1 cities. Can you share it?
Sure. See, the consumer's taste is very different when you go to in a non-metro city, I would say. The buying behavior, what is it? So awareness, basically, if I talk about brand awareness, products awareness, it is not just the the digital ways by which you can create awareness, because these cities are very much close. I mean, the people living there are very much close to each other. They have a lot of time as compared to the metro cities. The people are here are not having that much of time to spend with each other, while there the people are very close. They have great relationships, they talk to each other. So in non-metro cities, I'll take an example. So in non-metro cities, the penetration of online pharmacies is very, very less, because people like to go and talk to their medical shopkeepers before buying their medicines. And this is every month when they're buying the medicines. So that is the kind of relationship that they have. And it is just one medical store, which is the neighborhood pharmacy. He's going to go to that pharmacy every time. Maybe there could be multiple pharmacies in one row, but then he's going to step to only that particular pharmacy. So that's how the psyche of non-metro consumers work. So now, a lot of revolution has already been made in, in digital marketing, in reaching out to your consumers digitally, the population which is online. There are so many ways you can go and, touch your customer. But when you want to reach to actual Bharat, when you want to reach to actual, offline customers who are coming from non-metro cities, we have created a platform where we are enabling all these brands, be it pharma brands, non-pharma brands, D2C brands, that they can go and directly interact with these customers, which are very much influenced by. So this is one sort of influencer marketing you can call, driven by relationship.
You would be doing this for thanks. You would be doing it for specific businesses also. It could be a pizza chain. Could you also be addressing different industries there?
Yeah, so when it comes to conversation, it's very personalized, right? Everyone talks in a very different manner, right? So for you, pizza की spelling PI is double click. ये हो सकती है किसी के लिए कोई छोटा word भी use कर सकता है, right? Since we are taking the example for that, right? So whenever a person is talking about pizza, right, we can generate some insights from that, right? That there's an intent to have that pizza, right? So we can serve as a distribution platform for the pizza delivery chain. We can show it as a suggestion over the keyboard. Like, you can just have a pizza right now. We have 10% discount on it. So that's the power of conversation and the intent which is generated, right? So in every part, like from going to tier 2, tier 3, and since we are in the conversation space, so in language, everything changes, right? In India, right? When we talk about India, right? there are n number of languages, right? We are 37 plus languages, and most of the people like to communicate in the ish version, like the macronic version of the language. Like we talk in English, right? During when we are talking to friends, we are not talking in the proper English. So that's where we come here. Our AI models come in, where we support the conversation in terms of suggestions, in terms of the engagement as well, and as well as the for the brand part as well. We generate the insight for the brand as well in terms of the macronic terms as well.
Thanks,
Right.
thanks for sharing that perspective. Anubhav, I want to ask you this. Now we have various chains operating at various price point. A chain will operate at a 30 to 50, somebody will be 100, 200, somebody starts at 400. Uh, but the biggest expectations you have always from the customer is brand loyalty. That if your customer is traveling all over India, he sees this is a reliable place to go to. That you leave Delhi, you land in Bangalore, and you go to say a chai sutta bar because you feel that okay, this is where I get these things. The an assured ambience. I know this. So how do you build that brand loyalty? Because see, when you move from 5 or 10 stores, your element of control goes away. You're relying on systems and employees who have to be motivated all the time, and the consumer experience necessarily cannot be uniform across stores. How do you ensure it is a uniform? How will we vary across geographies? And how do you develop the loyalty towards your brand in a marketplace which has got many of them?
See, जैसे आपने बोला कि बहुत सारे अभी है मार्केट स्पेस में, it is true, but as I said, we are into 6 years, we are still learning, and change is the only phenomena which never changes. So we have to act according to the market daily basis. And for me, I personally believe when it comes to the consumer, जब तक आप उनको संतुष्ट करें तब तक ठीक है, नहीं तो loyalty is a myth. So you have to keep innovating, keep renovating. You have to constantly changing on the products. Price plays a very major role in this. Customers are very much price centric. Leave the classes. I'm talking about the masses. Masses are very much price centric. If we talk about the big brands, you were talking about backstage. The big brands who are selling tea for 100 rupees, fine. You can get the loyalty from there. But we are into the 10 rupees market.
30 rupees.
10 rupees. 10 rupees. So 10 रुपए के मार्केट में सर हर तरह के लोग आते हैं.
In 10 rupees, you're selling a branded product.
Yes. The premium quality which we can serve for 10 rupees, we are selling it. So, yes, according to me, you have to be very adaptive. जैसा मार्केट आ रहा है, अगर आप 10 रुपए की चाय बेच रहे हो, so you cannot increase the चाय 3-4 2 folds के आप 20 रुपए 30 रुपए में बेचने लग जाएं. अगर इन्फ्लेशन के भी साथ में अगर आपको खेलना है तो आपको 10% 20% बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, जैसे 12 रुपए कर दिए. So कंज्यूमर इधर से उधर नहीं हो जाए. So there are चाय की बात करें तो इट्स बिग मार्केट. अगर हमारे जैसे 100 तरह के लोग भी आ जाते हैं तो सबका पेट पल जाएगा. मतलब
One big follow-up question would be, where would you make your money incrementally? Any premium products that you sell along with your tea which help you to make, because you spend on ambience, you said you have to recover your money from somewhere. What is the premium product you sell along with your basic selling so that you make the additional margins?
वेरी ट्रू सर. चाय इज जस्ट टू कैच पीपल कि 10 रुपए का प्रोडक्ट आप आ जाइए, सस्ती जगह है. मेन प्रॉफिट बाकी प्रोडक्ट्स में ही होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल पिज्जा, मैगी, बर्गर, उसमें ही ज्यादा मार्जिन है. आइस टी में पानी और 1 चम्मच लगता है सर 7 रुपए पड़ती, 40 रुपए 50 रुपए में बेचते हैं. सो देयर इज द मार्जिन. मेन मार्जिन उसी में रहता है.
So, thanks for sharing that perspective, because I think it's be it FMCG companies or even the big market chains, for all them attracting the consumer with the lowest price point proposition is the most important. You can of course make money from everyone else, but I think do we have the luxury of time? I don't think. We are already at 2:30, so I think give a round of applause from each of the panelists. They have shared insights which are invaluable to all of us. And I wish each of them well, and would like to see them being successful, and would like to interview them once again in a year or two when I think I'm sure they're doing much, much better than what they're doing today. And of course, we'd like to ask them their learnings then, because I think, as my panelists have said, that learning is a continuous process, and you alter your strategy according to your learning. Thank you so very much.